Our story starts with Cha Woo-seok, a handsome and smart insurance investigator. He has just exposed a corrupt employer who was running an evil scheme of hiring poor workers and injuring them on purpose to get billions in insurance money. Thanks to Cha's investigation, the boss goes to jail. But Cha's own boss is annoyed. He complains that Cha is acting too much like a police officer instead of a normal insurance agent. Cha's next case takes him to a hospital where a little girl is being treated for third-degree burns. Sadly, she was also hurt a year ago and lost the sight in one eye. The scared girl says it was just an accident, but Cha is sure that her mother is hurting her on purpose to get large insurance payments. He confronts the mother and threatens to send her to prison for what she has done to her own daughter. We soon learn the true motive behind Cha becoming an insurance agent. He used to be a police officer, but his life was shattered when his own sister became the victim of an insurance fraud plotted by her husband. Despite Cha's desperate attempts to put his brother-in-law behind bars, he couldn't gather enough evidence to prove the accident was intentional, and the man walked away with the money. Now, he uses his job to hunt down anyone who commits fraud at the expense of human lives. The scene shifts to a fancy art gallery where a woman storms in and slashes $1 million painting. She is Han Seolha, the chief auctioneer of the art house. She just discovered the piece is fake, and selling it at auction would ruin their reputation. Very angry, she scolds the associate auctioneer, Kim Yoonji, for making such a big mistake. Seolha is a highly successful but emotionally cold woman, and it is clear that Yoonji is jealous of her. Later, Seolha hosts an auction for wealthy clients. The highest bidder, Jun Byung, is interested in her. He introduces himself and tries to talk to her, but Yoonji interrupts them. Annoyed, Jun Byung rudely brushes Yoonji off. Humiliated for the second time that day, Yoonji confronts Seolha in the dressing room. She hints at a dark secret from Seolha's past and vows to use it to ruin her life. That very night, Yoonji calls Cha to report an insurance fraud and a murder. Cha arrives at the auction house with his ex-colleague, Ju Young, just in time to see Yoonji fall from the roof. Whether it was suicide or murder, it happened right after she threatened Seolha. Determined to investigate, Cha sneaks into the auction house and gets his first glimpse of Seolha. He does not know her or her connection to Yoonji yet, but the moment is intense. He watches her through a two-way mirror so she cannot see him. The company owner orders Seolha to handle the police and the press regarding the murder. During the questioning, she refuses to give the police the guest list, saying it is confidential. Overwhelmed by anxiety, she rushes to the restroom to take her pills. Meanwhile, after inspecting the building, Cha runs into his ex-boss and Ju Young. Cha and his ex-boss have a heated argument, where Cha accuses him of taking a bribe to let his sister's killer go free. That night, Ju Young shares everything they have learned about the case so far. Cha attends Yoonji's funeral to investigate further. He overhears other employees saying that Yoonji was about to get Seolha fired and take her position. This gives Cha a strong motive, and he immediately marks Seolha as his prime suspect. Later, Cha helps Seolha open her car door when her smart key battery dies. However, a random stranger being so helpful makes Seolha highly suspicious. With a little more research, Cha finds an old insurance file for a 35-year-old man. The policy was canceled just a couple of weeks before the man died in a tragic boating accident, and shockingly, the nominee for the insurance money was Seolha. Turns out that this man was her late fiancé. Cha realizes this past case might be the exact murder that Yoonji wanted to report. Determined to get answers, he goes directly to Seolha to confront her and investigate if she is the mastermind behind both Yoonji's and her fiancé's deaths. Seolha continues to deny any involvement in the deaths. Her friend steps in to defend her, so Cha calmly hands the friend his business card, just in case he remembers anything important later. Afterwards, Seolha and her friend go to another friend's bar for drinks. When he asks about the tense situation earlier, Seolha explains that Cha is investigating because both Yoonji and her late fiancé, Seong-jae, had insurance policies with his company. Hearing this, the friend remembers that Seung-jae once mentioned buying life insurance and making Seolha the beneficiary. Later, at Yoonji's home, Cha hands over insurance documents to Yoonji's mother. Seolha also arrives to drop off Yoonji's personal items from the office. Cha gently asks the mother if she has any suspicions about her daughter's death. The mother reveals that Yoonji used to cry over a mystery man, but she does not know his identity. When Yoonji's mother allows them to look through the room, Cha quietly pockets a suspicious business card. Meanwhile, Seolha discovers a calendar filled with detailed notes tracking her every move. Realizing Yoonji was secretly keeping tabs on her, Seolha quickly hides the calendar and takes it with her. The next day, Cha takes a day off, but still helps a former police colleague with a different insurance fraud case. In return, he asks the cop to look into Seung-jae's death. The cop confirms it was ruled an accident, but points out something strange. Seolha didn't cry and seemed completely calm when she witnesses his dead body. At the same time, Seolha remembers a private moment from her past. Seung-jae had actually canceled his life insurance policy specifically because she asked him to. Following the clue from the business card he found in Yoonji's room, Cha visits the restaurant listed on it. He discovers that it actually belonged to Seung-jae. There, he learns that Yoonji had secretly met with Seung-jae shortly before his accident. Even more suspiciously, both of them died within just 10 days. On his way back, Cha is hit with a wave of nostalgia, remembering how excited his own sister was about her marriage, bringing tears to his eyes. Pushing for answers, Cha goes straight to Seolha and demands to know why Yoonji and Seung-jae were meeting. His question triggers a painful flashback for Seolha. She had caught Seung-jae and Yoonji hooking up behind her back, leaving her deeply betrayed. Though she stays completely silent, Cha watches her usual poker face, finally showing real emotion. He immediately guesses that there might be a love triangle between the three of them. Back at the office, she is destroying the creepy calendar. Yoonji used to write to track her every move. Nasty rumors start spreading between the employers that Seolha used to bully Yoonji. To make matters worse, his friend who had defended Seolha earlier starts to doubt her. Influenced by his sister and the office gossips, he confronts Seolha about the insurance money of Seung-jae. Utterly brokenhearted that even her closest friend no longer trusts her, Seolha doesn't even bother giving him an answer. Cha visits the little girl and sees she is doing much better. Because he does not want her to get hurt again, he gently convinces her that telling the truth is the only way to stop her mother from doing bad things. Later, Cha gets a call from his investigation team. They tell him about a young doctor named Choi Young, who died suddenly after injecting a drug. Seolha was listed as his life insurance beneficiary. However, just like the previous case, the policy was canceled days before he died, meaning Seolha never got the money. To find out the truth, Cha digs into the doctor's background and visits his workplace. There, he discovers that Seolha is getting treated for depression at that exact hospital. A nurse there reveals that Dr. Choi fell so madly in love with Seolha that he dumped his previous girlfriend just to be with her. The nurse also shares another dark secret. Before Seolha dated Dr. Choi, she was with another man who tragically died in the attack in Syria. Back at the art gallery, someone sends a mysterious painting to Seolha, which was titled as Orphan, and this completely catches her off guard. For Cha, that's just too many coincidences to ignore, so he sneaks into the auction house to confront her with his thesis. Everyone who falls in love with her dies. Instead of panicking, Seolha steps closer to Cha. With a perfectly calm face, she asks him who might be the next man to fall in love with her. The chilling question immediately makes Cha feel uncomfortable. She then sternly points out that since she never received any of the insurance payouts, she has no real motive to kill her lovers. Finally, she warns Cha that she will file an official police complaint against him if he keeps pestering her. The next day at the office, the employees get something new to gossip about: a viral video of Yoonji arguing with Seolha. Seolha pretends to does not give it much thought, but Cha, who also sees the video, immediately wonders who could have secretly recorded it. Later, Seolha sets up a meeting with the auction head. She is highly suspicious of the company manager, who hates her for being so good at her job. During the meeting, Seolha reveals secret chat logs proving the manager and Yoonji were having an affair. The messages also show he promised to give Seolha's position to Yoonji. Seolha threatens to upload all the screenshots for everyone to see. To handle the mess, the auction head suggests distracting the media from the murder case by bringing in a famous painting and selling it for a record-breaking price at their next auction. After the meeting, the furious manager completely loses his temper and smashes Seolha's tablet. However, Seolha calmly threatens him back, claiming she has the original files saved elsewhere. She warns him that if he tries to ruin her reputation, she will not show him any mercy. But once she is alone, we actually see Seolha deleting the files. Perhaps now that Yoonji is dead, Seolha does not actually want to ruin the girl's name after all. Meanwhile, the auction head becomes the most suspicious character in the story. She has a secret hidden room in her house filled with all kinds of artwork. In a creepy scene, she is shown talking to a specific painting, which is strongly hinted to have been drawn by Seolha's own parents. Back at the police station, the cops receive an anonymous tip claiming that Yoonji was murdered, pushing the police to work extra hard to search for clues. Ju Young asks Cha for help, and they both go straight to the payphone where the unknown person made the call. Since there are no CCTV cameras around, Cha uses his charm and a little money to persuade an old shop owner to let them check her son's car dash cam, which was parked nearby. The footage reveals a young girl wearing a cap making the call to the police. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to Seolha, who receives a mysterious package. It is a wine bottle bearing the logo of Seungjae's restaurant. Startled, she chases after the delivery boy, but he runs away. Seeing that logo brings all her painful memories and feelings of betrayal rushing back. The next day, Seolha finds out the package came from the same delivery company her office uses. After a bit of digging, she discovers that her best friend Eun Hyuk was the one who sent the bottle. When she confronts him, he explains that Seungjae had asked him to do this in the past. It turns out Seungjae knew someone wanted to harm him, so he made some advanced preparations for Seolha. As they are talking, Eun Hyuk's sister, Eun Hae, interrupts them. She strongly suspects that Seolha is the real reason behind Seungjae's death. She does not hold back, saying incredibly harsh and hurtful words to make Seolha feel guilty for his death. Meanwhile, since Seolha had threatened to call the police if he kept sneaking around, Cha officially joins the auction company as their new insurance officer. Surprisingly, this does not make Seolha upset. Maybe she actually wants him to uncover the truth. She shows him around the office, including a highly secure room where all the valuable artworks are kept. She warns him that if anything happens to them, Cha's insurance company will be responsible for the massive damages. Cha is impressed by her professionalism, but still tries to provoke her by bringing up the same question: who might be her next victim? Seolha calmly shuts him down, pointing out that they are being watched through the security cameras. Later, Cha searches the office parking lot and finds Yoonji's car. With his old cop skills, he breaks inside and found a pair of binoculars and a hotel room keys. Elsewhere, Seolha meets with the wife of a Hong Kong auction house vice president to track down the famous painting the chairwoman asked for. The woman reveals that a Korean man, whose English name is James Pak, bought that piece 2 years ago. Seolha digs into this man's background and discovers he is Jun Bohm, the same wealthy bidder who was interested in her earlier. She sets up a private meeting with him to view some artworks and intentionally shows him a painting of that Syrian child. Turned out, Jun Bohm was the mysterious sender of that painting. During dinner, Seolha brings up the famous Stiller painting she needs. Jun Bohm admits he has it, but he is disappointed she only invited him for that painting. He refuses to sell it for money, hinting he wants something else in return. Seolha calmly gives him time to decide exactly what he wants in exchange. Meanwhile, the police use Metro Transit records to track down the young girl from the dashcam footage. They bring her in as a witness, and it turns out to be Yoon Hye. After the police promise to keep her identity a secret, she drops a bombshell. She claims she saw Seolha kill Yoonji. At the same time, Cha is trying to locate the hotel matching the key card from Yoonji's car. Because there are over 70 hotels in the city with the same name, He visits a corrupt delivery service owner he previously busted for fraud. Catching the man running another scam, Cha offers him a deal to avoid prison, have his delivery men search the city to find the exact hotel that matches Yoon-ji's keycard. Finally, Cha finds the correct hotel room. He enters and sees a toy model of a house sitting in the center of the room. But when he walks over to the balcony, he gets a massive shock. The room is directly across the street from Seolha's apartment. Finding the binoculars in Yoon-ji's car suddenly makes perfect sense. Yoon-ji was obsessively spying on Seolha, but God only knows why. Cha quickly searches the apartment for more clues and finds a hidden phone inside the toy house. He hands the phone to a young hacker, a guy he previously caught trying to commit insurance fraud. The hacker discovers expensive spyware app on the phone and some audio recordings in that app, and it will take some time to extract the files. At the police station, it turns out Yoon Ha-yi did not actually see Seolha push Yoon-ji. She only saw Seolha anxiously leaving the rooftop right before the incident. Later, while Seolha is organizing a major auction event, the cops arrive and arrest her for Yoon-ji's murder in front of everyone. With the CCTV footage and the viral video working against her, Seolha has no choice but to admit she followed Yoon-ji to the roof. However, she swears Yoon-ji was already dead by the time she got there, and she only ran away because she was terrified. Elsewhere, Junbom reads a news article about Seolha's arrest and flashes a creepy smile, like he's enjoying all this. Yoon-hyuk visits Seolha in custody and tells her he fully trusts her, no matter what. He asks if he can help in any way, and she secretly whispers instructions to him. However, Cha and Ju-young are watching them through the security monitors. Yoon-hyuk rushes to the auction house gallery, but Cha beats him to it. It turns out Cha hired a lip reader to translate Seolha's whispers, allowing him to follow her instructions as well and find a hidden memory card first. The memory card contains security footage, proving Seolha was walking through the gallery at the exact time of Yoon-ji's death, which proved her innocence. With not enough proof to convict her, the police higher-ups order the team to close Yoon-ji's case as a suicide. Seolha is finally released. Cha meets with the hacker, who sends over the extracted audio files from the spyware app. Cha also asks the hacker to track down Hyun-soo, his sister's murderous fiancé. Cha goes back to Yoon-ji's rented apartment and listens to the files. The audio reveals that Yoon-ji had installed a hidden recorder in Seolha's home to eavesdrop on her daily life. Cha also notices something new about the toy house. It has small figurines of a woman holding a microphone and a man in a doctor's coat. Meanwhile, Seolha is struggling with insomnia and visits her doctor. The doctor refuses to prescribe more sleeping pills and suggests she see a psychiatrist instead. Seolha replies that she had a terrible experience with a psychiatrist in the past. In a dark flashback, we see Dr. Choi Young inappropriately touching her during a session. Seeing the doctor figurine, Cha suddenly remembers Dr. Choi. He meets with the clinic nurse again, who confirms that Yoon-ji was actually Dr. Choi's girlfriend before he met Seolha. Unable to handle the rejection when Dr. Choi dumped her, Yoon-ji had caused a scene at the clinic. Afterward, Dr. Choi stopped treating Seolha as a patient because he wanted to date her officially. Later, at a gallery, Cha meets Seolha and reveals the shocking truth about Yoon-ji's connection to Dr. Choi, something Seolha never knew until now. As she turns to walk away, Seolha suddenly collapses. At the hospital, the doctor warns that she has taken way too much sleeping pills and seriously needs to rest. But as soon as she wakes up, she leaves without saying a word to Cha. She goes straight to Junbom's office to discuss business. There, a painting of fierce flames triggers her traumatic childhood memories. A young Seolha watching her house burn down with the bodies of her parents trapped inside. During their meeting, Junbom boldly confesses that he is far more interested in her than in the money. Seolha does not take this well, strictly telling him off for mixing personal feelings with business. He quickly backs down, promising to stick to professional matters. Cha listens to another audio file. It is a recorded conversation between Seolha and her friend who owns the bar. Her friend begs Seolha to stop bottling up her pain, but Seolha replies that she deserves to suffer because she survived while her parents died. Seeking answers, Cha approaches Eun-hyuk and asks about Seolha's parents. Eun-hyuk warns Cha to stop scratching her old wounds. However, Eun-hye blurts out that Seolha's parents died in a fire when she was just 15. Cha pulls the official police report on the fire and discovers a chilling detail. The fire may have been started intentionally to commit a suicide. Despite her friend's warnings, Seolha visits Seung-jae's memorial. Just as she expected, Seung-jae's mother violently blames Seolha for her son's death. Seung-jae's brother also corners her, demanding to know why Seung-jae bought a life insurance policy in her name and canceled it days before he died. It turns out the brother had overheard Yoon-ji warning Seung-jae about Seolha and the insurance money. When the brother aggressively grabs Seolha and accuses her of killing both Seung-jae and Yoon-ji, Cha suddenly intervenes and forces him to back off. Seolha tosses her engagement ring away, giving Seung-jae a final goodbye. Cha approaches her, and to rub salt in her open wounds, he asks if she is actually innocent. Fully convinced that no one in the world will ever trust her, Seolha steps backward toward the edge, and just as she begins to fall, Cha lunges forward and pulls her to safety. Crying, she begs him to just let her die and screams, "What do you want to know?" Staring at her intently, Cha replies, I want to know everything about you." Determined to learn more about Seolha, Cha calls Eun-hyuk for answers, but Eun-hyuk flatly refuses to talk. Unstoppable, Cha travels to Seolha's hometown to dig into her backstory himself. Realizing Cha won't give up, Eun-hyuk changes his mind and finally reveals the horrific truth. Seolha's father was a starving artist drowning in debt. One terrifying night, loan sharks broke into their home and pressed a hot iron against 15-year-old Seolha's shoulder just to torture her parents for money. Eun-hyuk, who witnessed the horror, says Seolha took the burning pain in complete silence. Shortly after, the family home burned down with her parents inside. Everyone in town assumed her parents started the fire because they saw no other way out of their debt. Later, Cha meets with Seolha's bar owner friend, who reveals another tragic detail. Seolha only started seeing Dr. Choi for psychiatric help after her first love died in Syria. Meanwhile, the jealous office manager is furious that Jeonbyum agreed to give the famous Stiller painting to Seolha instead of him. He plots her downfall by bribing Eun-hye with a permanent job offer to intentionally shatter a highly valuable glass artwork just before its big exhibition. Because Seolha cares so much about Eun-hyuk, she refuses to punish his sister and takes the blame herself. Desperate to fix the mess, Seolha drives out to meet the original glass artist, and Cha tags along. On the way, Seolha sharply reveals that she already knows Cha has been spying on her from Yoon-ji's secret apartment and warns him not to cross the line. When they arrive, Seolha falls to her knees, begging the artist to make a replacement piece before the exhibition. He initially refuses, but is eventually moved by her desperate pleas. Watching her, Cha is deeply impressed by her intense passion for her work. While there, he notices how badly the artist's welding fire traumatizes her. Genuinely concerned, Cha softens and confesses that he truly wants to believe she is innocent. Meanwhile, Ju-young visits Cha's apartment. Knowing his passcode, she lets herself in and discovers Yoon-ji's burner phone containing all the secret recordings of Seolha. Furious that Cha is hiding crucial evidence, Ju-young argues with him and confiscates the phone for the police. The next day, Seolha brilliantly exhibits both the shattered glass pieces and the newly made artwork, turning the sabotage into a massive success. Since Seolha believes a serial killer is specifically targeting the men who love her, Cha boldly offers himself as bait. He suggests posing as her new boyfriend to see if the killer comes after him next. Seolha agrees, and Cha tags along when she goes to pick up the Stiller painting from Jeonbyum's house. Jeonbyum is thrilled to see Seolha, but his smile instantly drops when he sees Cha. Jeonbyum offers them wine, and Cha's detective instincts kick in. He immediately recognizes the logo on the bottle. It is the exact same logo from Seung-jae's restaurant. Cha excuses himself to call the young hacker to dig up info on Junbeom. When he returns, he overhears Junbeom confessing his romantic feelings for Seolha. Now highly suspicious that Junbeom might be the killer, and knowing Junbeom is watching them closely, Cha suddenly pulls Seolha close. To sell the act, Seolha leans in and kisses him. Whether Junbeom is the killer or not, the kiss leaves him absolutely enraged. As for our fake lovebirds, both Cha and Seolha are far more affected by the kiss than either is willing to admit. Thanks to the Stiller painting, the chairwoman highly praises Seolha, making her the top candidate to take over the company. However, things take a dark turn. Cha asks his boss to pull the insurance records for Seolha's parents. His growing faith in Seolha is completely shattered when he discovers that she received a massive life insurance payout after the death of her parents. Cha confronts her with the documents. Seeing that he still does not truly believe in her, Seolha's eyes turn cold. She decides to let him believe the absolute worst and bluntly tells him that she was the one who started the fire. In a shocking flashback, we see her parents lying on the floor while a young Seolha lit the lighter and sets the house on fire. Cha is not convinced by her confession and pushes her again for the real truth. Seolha simply replies that there is no point in explaining if he is never going to believe her anyway. Brokenhearted, she goes to the bar with Eun-hyuk. She thanks him for giving her the courage to keep living after her parents died. Eun-hyuk admits he feels the exact same way about her. In a touching flashback, we learn that when they were teenagers, Eun-hyuk and Eun-hye's father was an abusive alcoholic. One day, when he tried to physically harm them, Seolha bravely hid him from behind and took the siblings to safety at her own home. It becomes incredibly clear that Eun-hyuk has harbored deep romantic feelings for Seolha ever since they were young. Meanwhile, the police finally get permission to officially reopen Yoonji's case. They suspect Seolha might have an accomplice helping her commit these murders. They bring in the auction house manager for questioning and review the guest list from the night of Yoonji's death. The bitter manager immediately points their suspicion toward Eun-hyuk, claiming he worships the ground Seolha walks on. Before bringing Eun-hyuk in, the police dig for evidence and look back at Seong-jae's case. They discover that the yacht Seong-jae died on had been repaired just one day before the fatal accident. When they question the repairman, he reveals it was actually Eun-hyuk who brought the boat in for repairs, as Seong-jae was too busy. Elsewhere, Seolha suddenly receives terrifying anonymous text messages containing old photos of her and her first love, Soo-ho, who died in Syria. The sender demands she come to a specific warehouse building. Panicking, she rushes out. Noticing her panicking, Cha secretly follows her. Inside the dark warehouse, Seolha finds another printed photo waiting for her. This one showing her and Seong-jae sitting on his boat, taken on the exact day he died. Cha arrives at the warehouse just in time to spot a mysterious person wearing a black cap. As Cha searches for Seolha, he notices a ceramic vase falling from above, aiming right at her head. He dives and pushes her out of the way just in time. Suspiciously, Junbeom just so happens to be at the same warehouse, claiming he is hiring their warehouse facility for his own company. Coincidence or not, his sudden appearance makes both Seolha and Cha suspect him even more. Genuinely concerned for her safety, Cha begs Seolha to open up, asking how he can possibly help her survive this mess if she keeps hiding things from him. He drives Seolha home, noticing a car tailing them along the way, likely one of Junbeom's men. Seolha invites Cha inside her apartment. There, Cha notices a wine bottle with the exact same logo he saw at Junbeom's house. Seolha explains that Seong-jae had personally designed that logo for his restaurant. Finally feeling safe with Cha, Seolha breaks down and reveals the truth about her parents' death. That night, her mom had sent her out to watch a movie. Feeling that something was terribly wrong, she rushed back home, only to find them lying after poisoning themselves. They had purposely set the house on fire, trusting that Seolha would receive enough life insurance money to pay off their crushing debts. Intending to die right alongside them, young Seolha was the one who actually flicked the lighter to finish the job. crying, she tells Cha how utterly devastated she was when she woke up in the hospital, realizing she had failed to die with them. Hearing her immense pain, Cha took her in his arms. He urges her to finally let it all out, and she breaks down in his arms. The next day, Seolha starts digging into the warehouse where she was almost killed. She discovers her auction house also uses that exact facility for storage. A colleague reveals that the warehouse facility is actually meant for Chairwoman Kim's personal use. Seolha then visits the chairwoman and insists she check a digital artwork file on her desktop, cleverly watching closely to memorize the chairwoman's password as she types it in. Later at the office, Cha shows up and casually asks Seolha out for lunch, making all the employees wildly curious about their true relationship. While eating, they quietly discuss their suspicions about Junbeom. However, they are spotted, not only by the gossiping co-workers, but also by Eun-hyuk, who watches them eating and chatting with a look of pure heartbreak. Back at the police station, detectives listen to more hidden audio from Yoonji's phone. They hear a recording proving Eun-hyuk was the very first person to call Seolha and inform her of Seong-jae's accident. They bring him in for official questioning. When pressed about the yacht repairs, Eun-hyuk claims he only fixed the boat because Seolha asked him to. During the intense interrogation, Seolha tries calling his phone multiple times. Fortunately, his sister, Eun-hye, arrives and submits a time-stamped photo and a transactions receipt from the exact day of Seong-jae's accident. This proves Eun-hyuk was with his sister when the accident occurred, officially clearing him as a suspect.